Hi Legion, John Hittler, co-founder of Evoking Genius and co-creator of the Genius Discovery Process with another edition of Pure Genius. Hey, do you drag your butt out of bed every morning? I mean, like drag it? Do you kind of half asleep walk to the coffee and kind of kickstart? You can't do anything until you get caffeine and you kind of, or maybe you're a morning person. Maybe you pop out of bed and you're all ready to go. Well, we all have different ways to go. What if you could start every day with energy and enthusiasm? Really? Yeah, really. Like start every day with energy and enthusiasm. Well, I coach CEOs, entrepreneurs, team leaders, and individuals to create lasting behavior change by making transformation safer and more attractive than standing still. Here's what we're going to do today. We're going to make your morning routine, literally from the time your eyes pop open to the time you leave for work or start your day, much better. And when I mean much better, you are going to redesign it and pick and choose and redesign and implement a routine that gets you going. You want to play? Great. Well, here's the theory. When you start a project at work, if you get off to a good start, doesn't that make the project go so much easier? Doesn't mean you don't have challenges, doesn't mean you don't have setbacks, but getting off to a good start sure helps. How about a football game? You're watching your team in the playoffs. Doesn't it help when a team gets off to a good start? They have the first possession is really good, or they score first, or they play making. Yet getting off to a good start is a really smart strategy. That's the whole idea here. So just for some background, I'm exploring and playing with a book called The Morning Miracle by a guy named Hal Elrod. It's gaining fast popularity, but the theory is simple. When you start your day well, you get a much better chance of having a great day. Simple enough. And usually transformation and progress is just like that. Simple, doable. That's what we're going to do today. So let's start with question. Are you a morning person? If you are, you'll love this. What if you're not a morning person? Oh, you know what? You'll love it too. Because either way, you eventually get your butt out of bed and you get going with your day. The whole theory here is we're going to set up a morning routine, healthy and consistent with I'll just say a mind, body, spirit themes, those three themes that get you going in the direction you want to go. You're going to design it and implement it so you are going to love it. It'll be customized for you. Make sense? Well, great. The end result is you're going to energize your morning. Okay? So here's the thing. Some people say, well, how much time is this going to take? Do I have to get up earlier? Do I have to set aside? You might want to. You might say, I kind of lollygag around in the morning. Lollygag being an official technical term. Don't use that at home unless you know what you're talking about. But some people kind of drag their way until they get out the door. It takes an hour and a half because they're sluggish in the morning. Or they like to loll or gag. You could do either one, or you could do both. You could do lolly and gagging, or whichever. But some people do that. Other people say, I have to be to work at 8. I don't even get out of bed till 7:30. I take a 10-minute shower. I get a coffee for the road, and I'm there by 8. They're super efficient, and that's how they do it. There's no two routines that are exactly the same. So maybe this is something where you get up a half hour earlier. My morning routine's about a half hour, and I'll walk you through it in a sec. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play 3 Jeopardy categories: mind, body, and spirit. Not in that order, of course, just to screw around with you and mess with your brain. But I'm going to do mind, body, spirit in Jeopardy style. We're just going to give you some suggestions, and we're going to flash them up on the screen, and you pick and choose the ones that are appealing to you. Now there's some I will highly recommend, and if you don't implement them, I probably say you're foolish, immature, and I don't ever want to talk to you again. Maybe, but probably not. They're so easy, they're kind of like no-brainers. Why wouldn't you? Ready to play? All right, we're going to spin the big wheel. We're going to take body for 400, Alex. Oh, that's great. So we start with body. Now, I don't say you have to start with a body routine. These are some of the things that fit in that category. First one, so easy, so simple, everyone can do it. and that is drink a tall glass of cold, not warm, cold water. Doesn't have to be freezing cold, but cold water with lemon in it. Fresh squeezed lemon. Now you only need a few drops. I cut a lemon in half and I use the juice from a half a lemon. So I get a lot of lemon juice with cold water. Tastes pretty good, it's fine, it's easy, but what does it do? The cold jumpstarts your metabolism, and it helps, a tall glass of water helps your morning constitutional or biology, if you get what I mean. The lemon really kicks your metabolism into gear. So the first thing I do when I get up is, rather than stumble to coffee, I'm not a coffee guy, but I go down and get a tall glass of cold water with lemon in it. Easy, takes 30 seconds, no big deal. That's that's one of those no-brainer ones. That's one of the ones, if you don't implement it, I'm gonna find out. Don't test me on this. That's the first one. Second one, again, these are not in order. These are just body suggestions. Eat 30 grams of protein. 30 grams of protein is 2.5 scrambled eggs. It's a protein shake with some powder in it. But get protein in your body. Here's why. When you start with protein and you get hungrier later in the day, what happens is your body is not jacked up on sugar and carbs. Carbs turn into sugar. So rather than going for more sugar to keep you jacked up, your body will start to burn stored fat and use it as energy. So when you start with protein in the morning instead of carbs, like some people say, oh, I have a big bowl of oatmeal. You go, it's all carbs, which really means it's all sugar. It may not be sugary, but carbs turn into sugar. What happens is you get that sugar crash about 9:30, and then you stumble into the break room looking for donuts or bagels or whatever's in the break room, because you're jacking your body up with sugar. Start with protein, and your body will then start to burn stored fat when it needs more energy, and you'll lose weight. That's why you start with protein. Okay? Stretch. Now, I'll also say exercise. They're different, but a lot of people don't have time or don't want to exercise first thing in the morning, but stretching is different. You could pick 3 or 4 1-minute stretches, less than 5 minutes. It engages your lymph nodes, it gets your body moving, it keeps you flexible, it just kind of jump starts your morning, and that's simply with stretching. Do a YouTube video on simple yoga or simple stretches. Stretch your hamstrings, especially because they're the key to your whole your posterior chain, from basically the base of your neck to your Achilles heels. Most people have really tight hamstrings. Get your hamstrings stretched out, get moving a little bit with some exercise and some stretching. And take good vitamins. And when I say good vitamins, you may have vitamins. Here's how you know if they're good. If your urine is bright colored, orange or orangey yellow, your vitamins are going right through to your kidney and your liver, and you're not getting much absorption. I would strongly endorse a company. I don't get paid for anything. I just tell people what I like. I use what's called athletic greens. You don't have to be an athlete for it. It's dehydrated organic food. So it's natural food, and they dehydrate it. It ends up being in a powder form. It comes in a foil pouch. You put a heaping teaspoon in a glass of water. And how I know is I used it after using something else. I switched. I could tell in my workouts that I was getting much better results in my workouts, and I could also tell the color of my urine. I know that's a little bit weird to be talking about that, but that's how you tell if your multivitamin's good. I'll warn you, athletic greens are not cheap. They're about $3 a day, about $90 a month on auto ship. So they're not cheap, but they're worth it because you actually get the benefit of it. Why spend $1, $1.50 on a day on something that's no good? Get what works well for you, but find a good multivitamin in the morning. It'll help your body get going. So those are body things. Simple, simple, simple. We flash them all up on the screen for you. And now I'm going to go to Mind for 600, Alex. Oh, great. How about these things? Do a brain dump. What do you mean, a brain dump? I'm dumping my brain all the time. I take huge dumps. Yeah, I bet you do. This is a first thing in the morning. This is kind of occupying the space between my ears in no particular order. It's just a dump. It might be errands that you want to get done today. It might be something that's bothering you. It might be a project that you left half-baked. It could be almost anything. You want to get that out of your head, because if it's taking up mental space in your brain, it means you're not going to be as creative or focused to do the things you really want to do. So it's just a brain dump, and I would do it in bullet point format. You just go, oh, drop off the laundry. Right? It's a reminder to yourself to drop off the dry cleaning. Easy enough. Get it out of your head and get it onto your daily plan. Listen to or engage with something that you learn, grow, or piques your curiosity. I suggest TED Talks. I love them. You know why? They're about 15 minutes. Guess what? From the minute I exit the shower to the time that I'm laced up my shoes, I've waxed my eyebrows, I've done all that kind of stuff, done incredible amounts of work on my hair, it's about 15 minutes. So I can watch it on an iPad and just have it set up on the counter in my bathroom while I'm getting dressed. It means I'm repurposing that time for something about learning and growth as opposed to CNN or Fox News or something else that just wrecks my day. There's nothing healthy or inspiring on those news channels, and every day it's the same story. It's what's wrong with the world. So start proactively with something where you learn and grow. I suggest TED Talks, but you can do podcasts, you can do almost anything where you're designing what goes into your head as opposed to accepting what is put on major news channels. Read. You'll say, read in the morning? I gotta get going. You know, what if you read from a specific book that you love? It could be for pleasure, where you read 10 minutes before you go to work and it kind of relaxes you. Could be that you use a journaling sort of thing. I did a program for 2 years in a row, same book, called Jesus Calling. It wasn't religious as much as it was biblical. They'd give you a biblical passage and then they'd interpret a little bit and give you like an aspiration or a thought for the day. It was a great way to set your day, and it took 2 to 3 minutes, but it was a way to pause and fill my head with something on purpose through reading. So we suggest that. Again, it jump starts, if you will, your brain or your mind. Good. All right, we are mostly spiritual beings. As much as we want to say we're physical, we are mostly spiritual beings. So when we take 1,000 for or we take spirit for 1,000, Alex, it's the daily double. We're going to get $2,000. We can bet as much as we want. That's how we go in spirit. So we got the most suggestions in this category I will call spirit or spiritual. First, set your intention for the day. But this is not a goal. This is your intention for the day. And why do you do this? I'll give you an example. I want to bless someone today. That's my intention for the day. I really don't know who that'll be. But when I set that intention, what happens is now my eyes and my ears are looking for opportunities to bless someone because I set that as an intention. Well, that's interesting. What if your intention is to eat healthy? My intention today is eat completely organic and healthy. Interesting. When you go down to the lunch counter or to the deli with a couple of colleagues, you say, oh, that's right, my intention today is to eat healthy. You make different choices. Instead of being on autopilot or saying, oh gosh, that carrot cake sure looks good, your intention will alter your choices a little bit so that you live your intention for the day. So set an intention for the day. It could be almost anything. Pray. I pray with my fiance every morning before we leave. Again, it keeps us connected. It keeps us grounded. Anything from forgiveness to requests to 911 help. It's interesting how much prayer really affects our lives. If you're not religious, you don't pray. That's fine. How about meditate? Now, if you're going to meditate, I would suggest you pick your theme. Because people say, well, isn't all meditation the same? No. You can meditate with a focus on forgiveness. You can meditate with a focus on gratitude. You can meditate with a focus on relaxation or deep sleep. You can do almost anything. If you want to do it on your phone, that makes it simple. The program I recommend is called Calm, C-A-L-M. It's free if you want to use the free app. And then, of course, they have a little upgraded one if you give them a little bit of money. They have a much more expanded menu. And you can literally pick 2, 5, 10, 15, up to 45-minute meditations on almost any subject. So let's say you're going to meditate on gratitude. You can do a 5-minute guided or scripted meditation that they do. All you have to do is get in position to receive and relax, and they'll walk you through the whole thing. Super simple, and it really helps you start your day well. Affirmations. What affirmation? What do you tell yourself? It's what we call self-talk, but you can call it an affirmation. And this is an affirmation you might tell yourself, or you might have it posted in your car or on your bathroom mirror. And it'll sound like something like, I am greatly blessed. Wow, what if you told yourself that every day? You'd start to see the blessings that you've been missing because you're speaking an affirmation. Keys to affirmation. Really, there's only two. Speak it only as the affirmative. Affirm is like positive, so you stay away from things like, I am not a jerk. Well, that's what you're not. Who cares what you're not? We want to know what you are. And you say, well, I'm healthy, intelligent, and capable. Oh, good, that's who you are. That's much better than saying who you're not. Okay? So speak it in the affirmative tense. Also, speak it in present tense, not future or past. So rather than saying, I will be successful, that's postponed to someday. Have it be, I am successful, present tense. That's the two things with affirmations. But speak affirmations. You can invent whatever you like. Google positive affirmations. They'll give you a whole bunch of suggestions and you just tweak them to your preferences. Set up your top one for the day. Now this might be under mind. I put it under spirit. It goes either one. What is your top one? What the heck? Your top one. Here's the definition of your top one for the day. When I accomplish my top one, it equals all by itself a really good day. Oh, that changes. It takes you out of administrivia and into what's most important. So let's say you've got a 30-minute conference call with your best client prospect and you could sign the biggest contract you've ever had in your career. Your whole day will be made if you ace that 30-minute call. Now, does it mean you won't work the rest of the day? No, but it puts your focus and attention and preparation on. Take care of that because that will create just by itself a great day no matter what else happens. Set your top one for the day. Here's a tip on that. I suggest you actually decide upon that the night before because when you sleep, your subconscious goes to work on it all the time you're asleep. It has you sleep better, and when you wake up, you're really much clearer and have a deeper sense of how to accomplish that, and then you just lock it in the morning. Because you might change it in the morning. You might say, well, I thought that was my top one, but there's actually something different. But set your top one for the day. Play music that gets you going. Now, that could be classical music, something like the Beatles or Mozart, classical. It could be guilty pleasures. You say, you know what? I'm still upset that Wham broke up. Well, I'm going to put Wham on. Wham gets me going, and it's a guilty pleasure. I love it. I'm a Motown guy. I grew up in Detroit, and we actually went to school with a lot of the kids of the Motown stars. I'm a Jackson 5, not Michael Jackson, Jackson 5 junkie on Saturday mornings. It's just fun, innocent, upbeat music. It gets me going. Depending on the day of the week, I have different kind of music, but set music in the background if that helps you. Really interesting one that plays both ways. It'll help you and it'll help somebody else. Encourage someone. Encourage someone. What do you mean? Well, set it on your to-do list today to encourage one person. That could be an email, it could be a handwritten note, it could literally be there's a person struggling at work and you notice they're really working hard but having trouble. The fact that you go up to them and pat them on the back and say, hey, I noticed you've really been busting your butt and this is not easy. Good for you, keep it up. Makes a world of difference to them and has them persevere and succeed. But guess what? It takes really good care of you as well. The expression of gratitude or the expression of encouragement is really healthy as a giving and a blessing that you will get for having given it out. So it's good for you, it's good for them. Set it on your to-do list to encourage someone. Easy enough? No, none of those are difficult. You pick and choose. It's a smorgasbord. We're going to call it the Hometown Buffet morning routine menu. And you know Hometown Buffet. I think their tagline is where fat people go to eat. I think that's Hometown Buffet. At least that's what I notice. I've only been there a couple times, but everybody weighs 350 pounds, and they eat like people who weigh 350 pounds. We're going to set this, there's enough here that you could gorge on these ideas. And guess what? I would love for you to comment as well and say, here's another one. It's a spirit idea, it's a mind idea, it's a body idea, it's something that works really well for me, and you'll take care of everybody that's listening today too. Go ahead and comment below, that'd be great. So I'll give you mine. I told you I'd give you mine. No, I don't do all those. Sometimes I do those, but my basic routine is body, spirit, spirit, body, body, mind, mind. What? Well, I start with my body and my spirit first because I don't need to engage my mind. Remember, all of this takes place before you log onto your computer or your phone. Did we forget to mention that? Oh, I'm going to remind you then. This happens before you enter into someone else's agenda, because as soon as you log on, let's say to your email, you are now entering the world of someone else's agenda. It's their agenda and they're bugging you. Why not set yourself up really well and get off to a great start, like in the Super Bowl, before you have to take on someone else's agenda? That's the whole idea with this morning routine. Do it before you log on to your phone or your computer. Capiche? Okay, here's what mine looks like. Simple, 1 minute. I drink a tall glass of cold water with squeezed lemon. So easy, so simple, costs almost nothing, and it gets my metabolism jump started. Great, that's a body. So I go body first. Second, I pray. Great, again, costs nothing. Takes between a minute and 90 seconds for me to pray. Then I'll meditate. I usually do a 5-minute meditation. So again, now I add another 5 minutes, call it 7 minutes of prayer and meditation. Those are both spirit. Another spirit. I then set, after I've meditated, because it's a perfect time to do it, I set my intention for the day. And interesting, I never know what my intention is for the day before I pray and meditate. I always know. It's super clear after I've prayed and meditated. It's like obvious now. I set my intention for the day. Now, I haven't spent much time, nor have I spent a dime, and I'm less than 10 minutes in. Now I go to a body thing. Now I go down and make either scrambled eggs with all kinds of things, red onions, smoked salmon, organic cherry tomatoes. I throw it all in there, or I make a protein shake. Either one, but I eat 30 grams of protein to get off to a good, healthy start. Then I go and stretch and exercise. So stretch or exercise. Sometimes I do my full exercise routine early, and then I shower and go to work. Other times I don't do that because it's a rest day, I just stretch. But if you're keeping track at home, it's body, spirit, spirit. Now I'm body, body. I just stretched and exercise. Now I go to my mind. I set my top one. What's my top one for the day? Now if I set it up the night before, I'm just locking it in. I'm going, that's still it. I'm ready to go. If I change from what I decided last night, then either way, but I lock in my top one so I know where my focus needs to be for the day. And then, while I'm getting dressed and I've gotten out of the shower, I set up a TED Talk. Doable? Sure. Now, most of that time, I would have, if I didn't have a morning routine, I would have gone down, made coffee, or gotten something. I would have putzed around. I would have gotten online, which I don't want to do. I wouldn't have worked out. I wouldn't have listened to a TED Talk, but I would have wasted that 15 minutes while I was getting dressed anyhow. I don't have TV on, but I would have just had it be quiet. Why not fill it intentionally with something that takes good care of me and gets me off to a good start? So really, this whole routine adds about 15 minutes to my morning, because a lot of that stuff, I would have gotten dressed either way. I'm just now taking that time I'm getting dressed and reutilizing it or putting it to better use by having a TED Talk on. You see the difference? Now, what if you did that tomorrow? Would that be a better way to start the day? What if you did it 2 days in a row? Or 5 days in a row? How would it look different on a free day, a Saturday or Sunday, than it does on a work day? You can have different morning routines for different days of the week. Some days you may drive your kids to work. You don't leave the house until 8 or 8:15. Other days you have to be in early. You got a East Coast conference call and you're on the West Coast or in Central Time Zone. You got to get there by 6:30 to make the early conference call. Your routine will set up with your lifestyle, and you get to design the whole thing. But when you incorporate a mind, body, spirit approach to it, and do it before you log on and enter someone else's agenda, you absolutely transform your mornings, and in doing so, you'll transform your life. You get it? I knew you would. Hey, if this is helpful, I ask that you like and share this with your network. It'll be helpful for them too. Until we meet again on Pure Genius, all the best.